Our house divided into two. Here's our team for the rest of the term. Brett, Peter, Joe, Cassie, our crew lead, and myself. We are dubbed the Joshua Tree team, as that's where we are going to be spending most of our time working after our first hitch. Speaking of which, our first hitch is at Alpine, California, sort of by San Diego, where we're going for 8 days, and all we really learned beforehand is that we're going to be clearing arundo, a bamboo-like invasive species that grows along rivers, which means it takes a lot of water away from native species and is a major fire hazard if it becomes dry. Our schedule looked a little like this. Just imagine we start and end on Friday, as the schedule is actually 8 days long, but the basic idea is the same for this and future hitches. So if your drive is 5+ hours, you will likely just have your first and last days be dedicated entirely to driving, which still counts towards your service hours, which is nice. Most days, when you leave for hitch, you leave at 6 or 7 a.m. depending on how long your drive is. So that means you're getting up fairly early, having to get all your gear packed the night before, eating a little breakfast, and then everyone driving to the warehouse, loading up the trailer, and then driving out. For the people who brought their cars, they will drive them to the warehouse, and then one of the ACE employees will store your keys for you while you're out working. So no need to worry about losing keys while on a hitch. So sit tight for your long drive. Your campsite can only be 45 minutes away from your housing or a 2-day drive, so you're at the whim of whatever hitch you're assigned to do. The crew lead will always drive. They might ask if anyone wants to get driver certified, and that means you can drive as well. It is up to you if you want to do that. There's no external certification involved. It is more so if you're interested in becoming a crew lead, as all crew leads need to be ACE approved for driving. For drives, I would suggest having some sort of snacks on you, and to not forget that you accidentally pack them all in your bag that is in the back of the trailer. Depending on the location, you'll make a few stops, and I would suggest getting food stamps by this time. I was able to get roughly $200 a month, and many convenience stores like 7-Eleven will accept the EBT cards, so you can even get a Slurpee. It's easy to go overboard on the junk food, but hey, it's nice picking me up when you're tired out on the road. Being a car DJ could be a video on its own. Just know that you have to have all your music downloaded, and that the aux is a privilege, not a right, and it is earned, especially for long drives. I slept for the bulk of the drive, but if you're on a shotgun, it is good courtesy to stay awake and chat with the driver to keep him company. 6 hours later, we made it to Alpine and met our project partner. A project partner is pretty much always a person of the local community who's partnered with ACE to commission volunteer work for the local conservation efforts. John was our project partner and had been working with arundo removal for 8 or 9 years now. Several of those years have been with different ACE groups. We met up with him and he showed us the 5 different arundo removal sites around the town and had pretty high sights for us, being able to finish everything in our 6 work days. We made it to our campsite shortly after, and it was raining a little, but we set up our tents still. We then spent the rest of the day checking out the campsite, which was really nice. We had running water, bathrooms, showers, and the views were great. Only later would I learn that all these commodities were rare luxuries. Another thing I learned was front country versus backcountry camping. Front country camping seems to be a mix of things from my experience, but it boils down to you being able to drive to a site to get fresh water, or water is piped into your campground directly. So in the backcountry, you have to hike everything in and need to filter water, and in the front country, you may not have running water, but you can drive to a location where there is water to refill your containers. So if you get a spot where you have a shower, you're living in extravagance. We sorted out our cooking partners. In our group, we paired into twos, so Brett and I cooked together, Cass and Joe, and Cassie and Peter. You will also be the one to wash everyone's dishes on top of the cooking nights, but every group seems to do this a little differently. We had dinner and then headed to bed. This entire time I had also been journaling. I'm not sure what I'll do with the journal, but it's a nice reference to know what we did every day. It was also nice to give myself time to check in on my own thoughts and reflect a little bit, because you're constantly moving between thoughts on this job. The project partner will stay in communication with your group, and we had a meeting point at a local grocery store that was pretty central to all the work sites. This is a setup that is a little out of the ordinary, but you can do all sorts of things at this job, so expect the unexpected. Each site had its own unique challenges, but they were all by water, and we had to do our best to avoid poison oak. The basic plan is to have one person cut down the arundo, and then load it up onto a tarp or to hand it off, and then pile it up. If there was any major trash, we would pick it up, but that wasn't our main priority. So ultimately, we didn't make as much progress as our project partner wanted, but we got one site done at the very least. We were hindered by our tools as our crew lead was not chainsaw certified, and a weed whacker with a tri-blade wasn't cutting it. On our last day, we mixed things up a little and got a bit of a tour of the town after wrapping up one of our sites, and also removed some poison plants, which felt sketchy at the time, but I suppose none of us died, so it was fine. Our tour continued with us learning about the history of the town of Alpine and got to see this giant dinosaur, which is cool. We then went back to our site and tried to pack up as much as we could because we had a little plan for our trip back. Joe's actually from Southern California, so he invited us to his favorite burrito spot on the way back, and we stopped at the beach to eat. We doubled down and stopped by Trader Joe's, since there isn't one close to Ridgecrest, to get groceries. Now technically you're supposed to drive straight back to the warehouse after Hitch is over, so don't go guilt tripping your future crew lead, but bringing up potential team bonding activities is fair game, I think. Our crew lead Cassie already got scolded for this, but keep your lips shut. We got back still with plenty of time for D-Rig and got home to shower and relax. To put a long story short, D-Rig is a few hours you spend at the warehouse to help clean up the work truck and all the tools you use on Hitch. This is important practice to prevent the spread of any invasive species when returning from Hitch and to prolong the life of your tools. With our first week of work done, we were rewarded with 6 days off to do whatever we wanted.